Aren't you white meat supposed to be out fighting real crime? Like figuring out where that missing sprinkled donut went?
Oh, that's real funny, smartass. Kiss your little roller skating contest goodbye. That is, unless your buddy here wants to do us some favors.
Rape. Tony Hawk's Underground is a game that grows and or hides underground, so take that shovel and dig up your grandma's daisy garden. A free video game is yours for the taking. She deserves it. Just do it. 1 dig, 2 dig, 3 dig, 4. Longtime Tony Hawk series developer Neversoft was a machine. Underground was their 5th original Tony Hawk game in 4 years. Each game improved, expanded, or changed its formula in some manner. In many respects, Underground offers some of the best content in the series. Underground is the first game in the Tony Hawk catalog to feature a storyline, so the game opens with a cutscene. After this, your first task doesn't involve skating, but platforming. Yeah, your feet can leave the board in this game, so you can pack it up, pack it in, let me begin, I came to win, battle me, that's a sin. This establishes a pretty big innovation, an innovation that gives us a stealth mission in a skateboard game. After 4 straight years of Tony Hawk game after Tony Hawk game, you have to wonder if Neversoft wanted to test the boundaries, to see what kind of oddball things they could get away with including. All the skateboard tricks that exist must have been included in the series by now. What more could they have done with the template? You figure it out. You make your own tricks, John Doe consumer. Enter Create a Trick, a Tony Hawk Underground debut. I remember spending a lot of time here. Flip tricks and grab tricks have no overlap, unfortunately, but that doesn't stop the game from allowing triple 1080 barrel rolls or other tricks which are just as wacky and impossible, but the interface is simple and intuitive. Well, that's enough time here. Back to the main game, and we're driving cars. Consider those boundaries pushed. All of Underground's platforming, driving, stealthing, and stories can't change the heart, soul, blood, and guts of the Tony Hawk series. Progression through the game happens by completing goals. In the first 3 Tony Hawk games, you would complete a level's goals in 2-minute chunks. Underground abides by the open world structure first established by its predecessor, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. Exploration is incentivized through the inclusion of secret tapes, but it's still less rewarding than in the first 3 games. I had more fun exploring the levels in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 through 3 because you completed goals while you learned the locales. You'd learn the stages front to back because all goals within them were available to complete at all times. This is not the case with Underground. Goals come one at a time here, which isn't a problem in and of itself. A lot of the goals feel similar to the level-specific tasks from the Pro Skater games. I like that, but the Pro Skater games had goals common to each level, which became progressively more difficult as the levels progressed. The game would force the player to get better, and you'd rise to the occasion. In Underground, there are still goals which have you score a certain amount of points either in a single combo or within a time limit, but the progression of the difficulty is inconsistent. It never seems like you're truly mastering each stage like in previous games. The order in which you pick your goals is entirely up to you, and you don't have to wander from place to place looking for a non-player character to give you something to do. You can pick all available missions from a clean and easy menu. Each mission moves the story closer to completion, so you can breeze through it with maximum efficiency. Unfortunately, this comes at the expense of having to learn the stages front to back as Tony Hawk's past demanded of its players. I can't really tell if this is the reason why the course designs are not as memorable. The Slam City Jam level is an exception, but maybe the relatively uninspired designs of the courses are a result of choices made in the development process to place less of an emphasis on skating. Whatever the true circumstances may be, I think a level of familiarity with the franchise's control and gameplay was assumed going into the creation of Tony Hawk's Underground. There are some new gameplay elements, but you can play much of the game without a need for them. I doubt the project leaders were banking on sales from people who never touched a Tony Hawk game before, and I doubt the surprisingly large number of vehicle missions would have moved that needle at all. Neversoft took the series as far as it could possibly go on 4 polygonal wheels, so they changed the presentation and added an absurd amount of customization. We've already talked about Create a Trick, Create a Park, and Create a Skater modes. We're no strangers to the series by now. This time around, Create a Goal and Create a Deck are here. In place of a classic Tony Hawk's Pro Skater experience, you can create your own goals and pretend like you're having one. Create a Deck isn't as deep as Create a Goal, but it has some very primitive Photoshop-like features such as layer ordering. Not bad. Tony Hawk games always had the best unlockable content, and even though Underground secret stuff isn't as abundant compared to Tony Tony Hawk 3, it's still good secret stuff. Headlining the rewards is none other than shameless rock and roll hyper-capitalist Gene Simmons. He is paired with a Kiss concert themed level, and he grabs his skateboard with his elongated tongue for his special move. Naturally, the soundtrack includes some Kiss songs among many others. The massive playlist features over 70 licensed songs. The aforementioned story mode is the biggest change from Pro Skater 4 to Underground, and it's actually pretty good. It follows the quest of two individuals who work to become pro skaters as their friendship deteriorates, and details the dangers of greed, fame, and the betrayal that results from pursuing such things. Even though I enjoyed the story, you could see where it encroaches upon Jackass and Viva La Bam territory. Tonally, the Tony Hawk games always had some comedy, so I don't reject this out of principle, but the way it's done here at times rubs me the wrong way. At this point in the series, there was only a couple of directions Neversoft and Activision could take things. I'm sure it made sense to capitalize on the wayward, hopeless American youth doing stupid things trend, but in retrospect, the better long-term bet would have been stripping Underground down to the basics and focusing more on the art of skateboarding. This is what EA's Skate series did, and it left Tony Hawk for dead. With all that in mind, this is still a real good game, and it's available at really low prices.